Attention listeners, are you ready to be blown away? You asked for it and they listened. Our friends at Manscaped just relaunched the Ultra Smooth package. It's back, baby! Your new favorite tool and complement to the Lawnmower 4.0 to keep your boys smooth while looking and feeling their best. This specialized growing shaving kit is here to help you buff, protect, and shave your most sensitive areas. It's time to crop that bush of yours and get right to the roots with a discount just for you from Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code TAGS, TAGS. Birthdays, weddings, graduations, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Denim Day? Look it up. Heck, finally inviting friends over for cocktails. There are a lot of spring occasions that you'll be celebrating. So why not celebrate with the gift of beer, wine, and spirits delivered in under 60 minutes with Drizzly? You're right, it's flawless logic. I've been using Drizzly now for the last couple of months. I love the convenience, and my favorite part is I put in my favorite wine or tequila, and Drizzly finds all the stores that carry them and compares prices. It's literally my go-to in a pinch. Well, right now, Drizzly is giving all new customers $5 off their first order with the code SPRING5. Just download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com and use promo code SPRING5. That's spring with the number 5 for $5 off your first order. Hey, what is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Steve V, and this is episode 363 alongside Kodi Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. Now I have my beautiful glass of wine.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Yes, we are in the same room as we record this today.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool to be in the same room, right?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I always love recording live with you. The energy is just palpable, and I just think it's amazing. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're still celebrating 5 years. We are celebrating 5 years of podcasting, and we always started the show doing it in the same room here at this table that we're doing it now. And I always felt the dynamic was great. It probably requires a little bit more coordination of getting everybody here. And we all know we're all so busy.
And I'm always late.
And it's okay. I appreciate you making your way over here because it's not easy. And I think we all got a little bit used to Zooming and dialing it in via virtually. It's so easy to do that nowadays. And truth be told, listeners, we do the show now that way for the most part. It just has worked. One of our hosts, Jeremy, has moved away to Massachusetts. Lincoln is crazy busy teaching and the bakery. So it's just that much easier. You're in Brooklyn.
I know.
It's not much easier to dial in. But every once in a while, I think it's great to do this and see your actual physical response.
Oh, yes. It's so good. Yeah, it's good to actually be in the same room. I do like Zoom recording, though, because you can get your RuPaul on and have on, like, sweatpants underneath or maybe no pants underneath.
Yeah, is that how you do it?
That is how I do it.
I love it. Okay. Well, on this episode, a little bit later, I'm revisiting an interview I did with director Tomer Heymann about his not his brand new film, his film that's just finally getting released called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. And it's this powerful documentary that really came out 2 or 3 years ago, and he made the circuit on the film festival circuit. It did very well. And then he really wanted it to have a widescreen release. He didn't want it to go straight to video, and I really appreciate that. Because the film is so powerful. I'm going to tell you just a little tidbit in a second, but it's starting to have its premiere in New York, Los Angeles, and Philly. And I would imagine after that it will go to video so everybody can watch it. But I wanted to revisit that interview, and in the second half of this show. But did you know the porn star Jonathan Agassi?
I am familiar with his work.
Okay.
He's a very beautiful man, so
Very beautiful Israeli man, and the story documents over a few years. I always love a good documentary when it's not just like 1 year in the making. It's like several years.
Oh yeah, that's always good.
And it started at the height of Jonathan Agassi. By the way, not his real name, but his stage name.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
that's what we get. That's what we got going too. Hello.
We do. And it follows him at the height of his porn career. And we get to see where he's making appearances and everything's going great. But we learn a little bit about his great relationship with his mother and his not so great relationship with his father. Sort of is dealt with later on in the film, because it's sort of his downfall too. He does get involved with drugs, and I know there's a lot of people going, oh, another porn star. No, he does get caught up with it, but you see it through the lens of in real time. And you kind of understand how it could go this way. But it's such a story of redemption and turning your life around.
That's so beautiful.
I was really touched by this film. I'm going to go see it again and hopefully meet director Tomer here in New York City next week.
Cool, I want to go.
Yeah. So it does debut, listener audience, this week. You can start seeing it. I'll put it all on TAGSPodcast.com. Again, it's going to Los Angeles and Philly. It's called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. Stay tuned for that. My interview with Tomer, the second half of the show. But let's get into some hot topics. And couple quick dates I just want to let everyone know. May 24th, speaking of LA, I will be in LA for the Cyber Socket Awards. Hopefully picking up my award for us.
Wait.
But, and thank you all for the many of you that voted for us. It was pouring in, all the people that told me you were voting, and I really appreciate it. We all really appreciate it.
We do. Yes, thank you guys.
So it's going to be in LA Tuesday, May 24th at Heart Bar in West Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard. Beginning everything at 6:30, red carpet. I'll be there to just have fun and enjoy the process.
I can't wait to hear everything, and I can't wait for you to come back with that trophy, because I'm speaking it into existence right now, okay?
I mean, we'll see. If not, they do say it's always great to be nominated.
It is.
We'll see.
We win and know.
I'll document every aspect of it. And on other date news, May 31st, Tuesday, May 31st, a week later, we'll be doing our monthly Discord Voice Deeper conversation. Cool. It is right after Memorial Day weekend on Tuesday, May 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to join the conversation, they've been getting really deep and connected. You can go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. You can join at the sub category and above and join the conversation on our Discord voice channel.
Can't wait.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get into a couple hot topics before my interview. And this first one, I couldn't, in news right now, we keep hearing about Florida Don't Say Gay bill and wondering, are there going to be repercussions? Is this real? Well, yes, it is, because a teacher says she was just fired after talking to students about sexuality. All right, hear me out here. A Florida middle school art teacher claims she was fired by her school district after speaking to her students about sexuality. Casey Scott said that her students ended up drawing flags representing their own sexuality, and that school leaders had her throw the image and the drawings out. A discussion happened in class, and because of that, I'm fired, Scott told the outlet. Scott said the conversation had focused on sexuality and that some students had asked about her sexual orientation. And she told them she was pansexual.
Yep.
She said, I like anyone despite male, female, non-binary, transgender. she explained. She told the class she was married to a man. Some of the students ended up asking if they could draw flags. So they asked her if they could draw flags representing their sexuality. She then hung the drawings on her classroom door, and it was then that the school's leaders contacted her. They said it would be in the best interest if she got rid of them. She went over to the recycling bin, grabbed all their flags, and all the kids were staring at me, and I crumbled their flags in front of them. Jeez.
No.
After that, she was, the outlet asked she felt about how she felt, really ashamed, disappointed, because I feel like it's all my fault, and I was just being myself, Scott said, when she was asked about her sexuality. She's now out of a job, so I think the thing about Don't Say Gay, Governor DeSantis signing it into reality, apparently it got to the school board, parents, and she's out of a job. So this thing is really real. If you're wondering if there's ramifications, and I don't know, I think, first of all, we know why they put this into the mix. Homophobia, and it's we're in a 50-50 country right now, which is all about politics. But do you think that she did anything wrong?
Of course not. She was just being, like you said, she was just being herself. The kids initiated the question. And I think that when you deny kids the answers to their questions, I think that only intensifies them wanting to seek out things maybe in the wrong way. So I think that she did what she had to do in order to make sure that the kids were taken care of, and now she's being punished. The sad thing is that she is being punished, and there's no legal repercussions for her. Like, she can't do anything legally in order to go against it.
Yeah, the law is not on her side.
Exactly. And also that those kids are probably more traumatized by them balling up all of those papers and having her fired than if they would have just let it go.
Because the argument on the right, besides it being political, so if you were just to separate what's going on in our country and you're just to argue what they're saying is they don't want a certain age group talking about our like sex and so forth. This wasn't about sex talk. It was simply, they asked her what her sexuality is. She gave a very clinical and honest response that didn't say what she does in the bedroom.
I know. Oh my God. And that would be a completely different story.
Right. And I think that's where the argument has been on the right of, oh, we're going to start talking about what people are doing. No, she simply said who she's interested in from a sexuality standpoint.
Who she can love.
Right. And young people in high school, I believe this was high school, are also experimenting much more than when I was. Yeah. And they're putting the flag, which is a pride symbol, and now they can't even do that.
Yeah, it's insane to me. It really just speaks volumes of where our society is heading, and I don't like it.
No. So people, this is where we're headed. I just hope that the rest of the country doesn't follow suit. Yeah. Because Florida's definitely not on my shit list right now.
I know. It's so sad. I don't even want to go visit my boyfriend's parents down there.
Okay. And they're probably in a more conservative area than even like Miami, but that's the whole state, so it doesn't even really matter.
Exactly.
Well, Rhyheim Shabazz, speaking of porn stars.
Ooh, my man.
And one of the things I did love about Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life is he's out of the industry now. It didn't ultimately work for him.
Okay.
And there's oftentimes people that like to say, oh, yeah, this is all porn performers, OnlyFans. It's a slippery slope. And it can be, but not for everybody.
True.
You'll see, though, it's really handled well in the film. But Rhyheim Shabazz apparently didn't even want to be a porn star to begin with. He shared how he got started in porn. And earlier this month, Rhyheim Shabazz announced he'd be giving away 2, I love this, Nintendo Switches. Do you know what that is?
Oh, Yes,
What
I
are they?
love the Nintendo Switch.
Of course. That's why I love you on the show, because you're always up on the. What is that?
I know all the nerd culture, the gamer culture. GAYMER, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
gamer.
Gamer.
I want to be a gamer.
Come over to the
Can,
house.
can you just teach me like one game once and how to play one?
We play Mario Kart. We play Super Smash Brothers. So come over.
Are we smoking?
Uh-oh. It's legal now. I saw some things on the subway, so
I would do that.
Yeah,
but
come
no, I would
on.
just come and have a. What do you serve? White Claw. I'll have a White Claw or BYOB. I'll bring my own.
No. You
bring
gotta have a
my
White
own
Claw.
wine.
You gotta have a White Claw.
Okay.
If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right. Okay.
All right.
No, but yeah, I love the Switch. It's basically it's more of a portable game system.
Okay.
And I think that you can play it. I usually play it with the television, but I think that you can play it handheld as well. And I think that that's why they call it the Switch.
Oh, okay. So he announced that he's giving. I love this. That it's so relevant too. He's giving away 2 Nintendo Switches.
I need to get in there.
To followers who subscribe to his newsletter. And talk about taking porn OnlyFans into your own hands. I love this idea. While those prizes have since been awarded, it's already time, according to Straight Up Gay Porn, for yet another giveaway. I guess he's giving away the Oculus Quest 2 VR headset.
Oh, really?
Do you know those? It's one of those things that it's probably for those live.
I love him.
You know those live video games that you play?
Is he looking for a boyfriend? I mean,
you already have one, bitch.
I know, but I can have 2.
So in this interview, when he was talking about all this, he was talking about how he got into porn. Somehow while I'm in Spain chaperoning Leon for his Tim Tail scene with Tim.
Okay.
Tim and his business partner Grobes convinced me, this is Rhyheim talking, to make my on-screen debut with a mask, though, because at the time, anonymity was a must. I had zero interest in being a porn star. I had zero interest in even being on social media, he says. I'm laughing right now thinking about the various masks that they tried on him: black, leather, wrestling. They ended up settling on the wrestling mask. Ooh. And at that time he was known as Big Bro.
What? I gotta go back and look this up.
This is the old school shit.
Is it on VHS?
I'm not that old. Soon after returning from Spain, Leon and I decided to part ways. The knucklehead, this is according to Rhyheim.
Okay.
I love that word. The knucklehead was stubborn as hell. Having been to Spain filming those studio scenes, being among European actors like Andy, Victor, Ram, and others, it only got worse. That didn't work too well with a person as controlling as myself. Yes, I am a bit of a control freak.
Who isn't?
All right. So he decided to start his own fan page and Twitter account, thinking that no one would be interested, given that at the time he was 38. I had no social media, no real history in anything, but things kind of took off faster than I could have ever expected. When one night, while on Grindr, I saw a porn star that I could never get the attention of, and trust me, I tried for months, was just a few hundred feet away. Who was this mystery man? Sean Zevron.
Oh my God.
Do you know Sean?
I'm in love. First of all, okay, all my loves in one story. I'm here for it. Let's go.
You know who Sean Zevron?
Yes, I do. And he, not to get kind of political again, but he's very politically minded. So Sean Zevron is.
Okay.
In addition to being very super hot.
So I kind of love how he got into the business. You know, in some ways, I think the porn industry can be quite enticing, especially now. I would imagine everybody thinks you can do your OnlyFans, and people can. But it's a lot of work, like podcasting.
It is, yeah.
Everybody, if you just get a mic, you don't even have to have a great mic. You could do a podcast. Everybody could.
Yeah.
I think people realize after there's more work to be had, and are you going to be consistent, and is it sustainable? In porn, are you really comfortable putting yourself out there and thinking about, I think there's a checklist that you have to think about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, family, or what are your friends going to think? How your dating life is going to go from here on out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors.
Totally.
Answering to the people. So it sounds like in some ways, maybe it's great that Rhyheim started at 38.
When he had more in mind of what his life could look like and what he actually envisioned for himself. I think I see a lot of value in that. I think that when you start things later in life, you know who you are more, as opposed to people who get started in their 20s. And I feel like you're a little bit more malleable when you're in your 20s. So you just do whatever people kind of try and tell you. Maybe not now, but when I was 20, that is how things went down. If someone said that this was the way to do things, then that I got in my mind that was the way that things were going to go. So I can see what he's saying. I agree.
In some ways, I could see this being a model for many industries. For so long, we thought you have to to be an actor, or to do any kinds of things, you had to be a certain, youthful, and then it ends. I think you probably have a better head on your shoulders for something like this to start. By the way, 38 to me is young, so
and he looks amazing.
Yeah, right.
I did not even know that he was 38 or when he started.
Yeah.
Because how old is he now? I don't even know. I'm not good at math, so
I don't know when this was, but I mean, maybe if this was a couple years ago, maybe he's 40.
He's been on the scene now for at least 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So
I mean, I think it's great because I think you've had a chance to live, have sexual experiences, know who you are, know what you want, know how you're going to handle the industry, and you bring probably a lot more. OnlyFans is a lot about storytelling, more so than porn is too, but you have to be your own storyteller.
Exactly.
So you probably bring more to the table and make your content that much more interesting. So, and you're ready for it. You've thought about it. You've gotten a lot of that other shit out of the way. You're not going down a rabbit hole, hopefully, and I think it's great.
And his content is so hot.
Is it?
It seems like he knows the type of content that he wants to put out there, and he has a vision of what he wants to actually disseminate to the people. So I love it. I say keep it coming.
Cheers
Rhyheim.
to Rhyheim.
Cheers to Rhyheim.
Hey, it's Steve V here, letting you know that the legends who introduced the electric ball hair trimmer are bringing back their razor so you can be set and trimmed front to back. Men, you no longer have to borrow your lady's razor for that precise trim. I love using Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0 to kind of get everything trimmed down, but when I want a really close shave, and I mean close, like the balls where they just feel so good, you know what I'm talking about. I love using Manscaped's crop shaver to really get in there. It's got this great grip on it. And when I use the crop gel and the exfoliator together, it really preps my balls perfectly. And they're ultra smooth with no nicks or anything. So it's a great combination. Here's the steps you want to take. Grab your handy Lawnmower 4.0 and give your boys the classic trim to your liking to get the loose hairs out of the way, and then take out the Manscaped Ultra Smooth package to make your package the perfect package this summer. Step 2, crop exfoliator. Infused with the ingredients that can soothe, clear, and keep the skin on and around your growing feeling refreshed, the crop exfoliator can help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs in your delicate places. Step 3, crop gel. See where you're shaving with our unique clear shaving gel just for the growing. With 4 essential oils, it's like a spa treatment every time you shave. And step 4, it's time to shave. The crop shaver was designed for shaving the growing area with confidence. 3 precision blades include extra wide lubricating strips and a pivoting head for the ultimate growing grooming experience. The crop shaver is not your average razor. It's smaller, thicker, with a micro comb bar that allows for the best shave possible with any angle. Beach balls are meant to be smooth, and now yours can be too. All 3 of these vegan, cruelty-free, and sulfite-free products are included, so you know your manhood is in good hands and without compromise. It's time to get up close and personal with the best tools for the job, the Ultra Smooth package from Manscaped. So here's the deal, guys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TAGS, T-A-G-S, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TAGS, T-A-G-S, at manscaped.com. Smooth out your fellows with the relaunched Ultra Smooth package from the fellows at Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. It's time to get into my interview with Tomer Heymann about his his upcoming documentary that you guys can see. You can find all the listings on TAGSPodcast.com. The film is called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. A couple of quick announcements before we get into my interview. Just wanted to let you know that Lincoln will be back next week for episode 364 on May 17. And he wanted me to let you know that if you have any questions, advice you want specifically with Lincoln's perspective, send them our way. You can always go to our website and email us from there, or simply DM us at TAGSPodcast on our Instagram page, and we'll get to that. Also, we have an after show, a Tags after show with Kodi and myself coming out this week. Stay tuned for our Patreon members at the twink category and above. You can always go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. Also, May 31st, Tuesday, is our 3rd Deeper Conversation on our Discord voice channel. And that's where we have a deeper conversation and we kind of do round robin. Everybody gets to speak. And we usually have a topic, but we also bring up topics as the night goes on. It's all happening Tuesday, May 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Deeper conversations happening, and you can grab the sub category and above over on our Patreon page. Patreon.com/Tags Podcast. And just introduced a new thing. If you want to support Tags, you can do it monthly on our Patreon page and get the perks, but you can also save 10% and do a yearly subscription. Just easy to do, and you'll get those monthly perks in your inbox as we move forward. Well, let's get into my interview with Tomer Heymann. Jeremy, you and I saw a documentary recently that made a huge impact on us and left us thinking a lot. It's called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. Jonathan Agassi is a stage name, but it's essentially a guy from Israel who was discovered and became a porn star. Michael Lucas Productions, a lot of you have heard of him.
Lucas Entertainment, yeah.
Yep. Discovered him, and he quickly got on the map of a major porn star. And like a lot of porn stars, went on to become an escort and a performer. And when our documentary meets him, it's at the very beginning of his career when he's taking off and he's doing photo shoot after photo shoot. He's dancing at parties, and at a lot of these parties, I've been to some of these before where they'll create sex acts on stage, and there's so many scenes in the movie, we'll talk about it in a second, Jeremy, where they reenact hot sex acts on stage. The film goes on to, he lives in Berlin. We are introduced to his mother, who he's incredibly close to, has a very special bond with. We learn more about his upbringing in Israel, which you can imagine. His father that sort of left the coop early on, and he has a struggling relationship with his father, who also lives in Berlin, 3 blocks away from him. Drugs entered the picture, and it's a roller coaster of a ride film that's a documentary but plays more like a narrative film. I was incredibly mesmerized.
Yeah.
I was on the seat of my chair.
You're like engulfed when you watch it. It's like
Yeah. So what did you think about it when you started watching it?
I was kind of shocked. I mean, a lot of it I wasn't expecting. It's very, very real. It's so raw, which I know documentaries do that realm of film, but you see like the insider part of this person's life, and you see like the demise and the decline and the up, and it's like it's an up and down, and it's a constant struggle, but it's like you see, it's fascinating to see the back and forth for somebody where I guess in his life there's a lot of great accolades that he gets, but then also the dark side of it is his actual life outside of getting the accolades, not in the porn and not with the escorting and any of that, where a lot of that he benefits monetarily, but it also shows that really doesn't end up making him happy and doesn't really provide the substance. But I mean, it's amazing, and I wasn't expecting a lot of the shit that I saw, and it's raw, and you see, just like you said, the roller coaster ride of somebody's life behind the scenes of it looking all glazed over and glossy and beautiful. I mean, the scenes that you see when they're on location for Lucas Entertainment are like unbelievable.
Mykonos,
I mean, it's like,
which
yes,
you and I know.
And the setting, and they're like on a cliff, everyone's greased up, and they're stunning, and they're just like, I guess, fake fucking for the camera or actual in between. And it's like, it's really amazing to see. I've never really seen any of that footage and behind the scenes. And then you see like him on the beach with his mom, who he took along for the trip. And it's like, I mean, that alone, their dynamic and their relationship that you see behind the scenes, you have to always end up remembering there's a real person behind all of this, which I guess when it comes to the sex part of it, we take that part out of remembering, like, this is somebody's son, this is someone's brother, this is someone's sibling. And I love that in this documentary you see the differences, and like you see him in the middle of the live sex act, and then you see him in Mykonos holding his mom's hand on the beach, like laying in each other's laps. It was great. I loved it.
It's an extremely unapologetic display of someone's life. And Jonathan, by the way, is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Super sexy.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to watch this film. I had a chance to talk to Tomer Heymann, the director of this film, and he was so real and raw in this interview. We're going to let you listen to a little bit of my interview with him as he discusses how he even discovered Jonathan Agassi, because Tomer is also Israeli, a gay man from Israel, filmmaker, as Jonathan is. And so you'll hear a little bit about that, why he didn't know he wanted to make a film about him, but he was just fascinated
and intrigued, which you can be by somebody that's captivating. I mean,
and what you don't always get in a film, a documentary, is he followed him for 8 years, and you're getting so much of beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And it's so riveting. Anyways, let's listen to the beginning of my interview with Tomer Heymann. One little tidbit fact about this is, which was adorable to me, is Tomer, I was trying to connect with him, and obviously I'm in New York, he's in Tel Aviv. There's an 8-hour difference, which was fine. We finally made it work. And Tomer has I think he has a partner, but he has 2 little boys. And I saw that in his WhatsApp, and I said, do you have 2 little boys? And he said, I do. And they were very present in this interview in the room playing with their toys. And every so often he had to go into his native tongue and scold or say, I'm doing an interview, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I had to edit. But anyways, we were laughing, and it's adorable. Anyway, let's listen to the first part of the interview, and we'll come back and talk about it some more. How did you discover this guy, Jonathan Agassi, and decide to make this film?
Basically, in a very strange way, I never heard about Jonathan Agassi before. I was not into porn from different reason. So this title, Jonathan Agassi, that later on my friend almost have doubts that I don't know the guy before. Hey, you didn't spend some night with him? You know what it means? I say, no, sorry, I never heard about Jonathan Agassi. The way I know him is by walking very late. I mean, maybe 3 a.m. I was depressed. I was after separation from my boyfriend. I just want a beer, maybe adventure, maybe who knows what. And I went to a local bar in Tel Aviv. Maybe 10 people with me, like me, want a beer or vodka or mojito. And the bartender allowed himself to say to all of us, with no words, with his body language, I don't care about you guys. He just jumped above the bar and start to kiss and to make love with one of the client. And from this moment, he stopped being a bartender, and I went home mad and angry about the service, but at the same time, I was either jealous or either like said, "What's going on here with this guy?" But it was very strong moment. It was very strong moment, and that basically was the first moment I catch something with him. 3 4 months later, I'm doing another project to another movie, and I was shooting in the gay man's gay week of parade. All this event, and from very
Yes.
far, my camera. You have to understand summer, Israel, hot, Tel Aviv. You cannot even like touch anyone. It's too hot. Okay, so in this really huge event, everyone dancing sweaty, but in the middle of this huge like I don't know how many people are around, I recognize these two guys who's doing love in the street of Tel Aviv. So I ran with my camera, and it took me a while, but I think then I remember this is a guy that couple months ago, kind of did. I found him doing the same, like on the bar. And then I asked a friend, "Can I have number of Jonathan Agassi? Can you help me to have any connection to him?" Yeah, of course. He sent me mobile number. He sent me Facebook, and day after, I met Jonathan Agassi in the one of the hotel in Ayarkon Street, and I offer him to follow him on this documentary, and that's the beginning.
And I understand that at first, Jonathan wasn't very keen on wanting to be the subject of a film, and that
That
there was a story behind that relating to his mother. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, of course. Why says this guy? I don't know who is it. And then I come to my friend, who is this guy who dared to be naked, to make love in front of everyone? What's going on here? He said, Tomer, don't pretend yourself. You don't know the guy. I don't know the guy. This is Jonathan Agassi. Huge porn stars, the only one that came out from Israel all over. Everyone masturbated on him, everyone, whatever, in clubs, in sauna, in parties. And I told him, tomorrow I need to meet him. So I wrote to Jonathan. I don't remember. It was Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. And like I don't know, 2 hours later, he told me, "Come to meet me in the middle of the day with me lunchtime. I'm in Hayarkon Street in a local hotel. I'm not living in Tel Aviv. I'm living in Berlin, and I will be happy to see you." I don't remember what I told him. Something like, "Hey, I want to offer you something. I have a suggestion." I don't remember, but I I'm coming. It was Friday lunchtime, easy. Nothing. I was not prepared to what's going on right now. I knock on the door of this hotel. The guy naked with maybe a small towel covers something. Okay, it started to be very strange. You know what I mean? I tell myself,
Yeah.
Tomer, breathe in, breathe out. I'm very nervous because it's a very important moment. I'm going to offer to this guy a kind of suggestion to join me to this journey. So, like, I was nervous.
Did you have the idea that you wanted to create a documentary or at least follow him around?
No, you have to understand, it was very early basic meeting to know him. my instinct went with, hey, this guy is interesting, but I no clue about the father, about the mother, the complex he carried from the past. Later on we might talk about it. I just was surprised that someone from Israel is so out as a gay icon, doing us live sex all over, not hide it, not ashamed about it. So it sounds to me an interesting story. So it started to be very either surrealistic, strange, weird. I'm a filmmaker coming to talk with my protagonist. It's happened in my life before, but in this atmosphere. So he started to ask me this question: how are you going to pay me? Dollar, euro,
Oh,
shekel? What is your fantasy? You are more top, you are more bottom. And then, oh, I got it. Now, the guy have expectation. I might be a client. We might have sex. And so I told him, hey, Jonathan,
oh,
sorry, I'm a filmmaker. I'm doing documentaries. Please go to the second room. Dress yourself. After 5 minutes, he came like a good Howard University Jewish guy with like a very nice suit, like the opposite. Like he and that
right,
was the
right.
moment when I shake his hand and I say, "Hey, nice to meet you. You are very interesting to me." And I mention it because the same time the reality show in Israel, we're talking about almost 10 years ago, was huge. The Big Brother. Big Brother offered to Jonathan 500,000 shekel, which is incredible, for Israelis, okay? It's like $500,000 to be part of the first, yeah, the
Big
first season in
brother.
Israel. And Jonathan told me, hey, Tomer, it's not about money. I don't want anyone to follow my story. I have a great life. I'm in the top of my career. So I'm not into it. Because I told him I'm not going to pay you money. I'm just going to bring my camera. And I don't know what's happened in this moment. I told him, can I talk to your parents, your father, your mother? He say, my father for me is almost a dying person. So don't talk about my father. My mother here, not far away, maybe 10 kilometer. Take her number. But Tomer, there's no chance. And I put my, sorry, he say, I put my dick. You can choose to put palm. He say, I put my hand or my legs. My mother will give her permission to be in a movie if you're going to touch this aspect of escorting and porn, because she's too shy and she's from Israel and so don't worry, you won't have my mother, so it's mean you won't have me. And that's the next steps where was this meeting with Anna, that she's also very important in the movie. Yeah,
His mother, yes, exactly. And so, is it fair to say that there was definitely a connection that you wanted to explore being from the same country, Israel, Tel Aviv, and you particularly knowing your culture. Did a lot of your initial interest in wanting to follow Jonathan have to do with that, just relating to the
for
culture?
sure. At the beginning I was surprised and shocked is that someone from Israel. You have to understand, Holon, Jonathan is not coming from Tel Aviv. He's coming from a small suburb near Tel Aviv. It's very
Oh, say that again.
mainstream. He's coming from Holon. Holon. It's a small city near
Okay.
Tel Aviv. Compare either to LA, things about a small city, really suburbs that you are really far from the center, much more people in the closet, people have fears. When Jonathan started also to tell me that he carry a lot of trauma from his past. He was a child that the society really, really treat him in a bad way. So I'm talking about server, and I was surprised that this young man dared to go all the way, because I saw him on the movies. Even compared to other porn stars, he was wild, he was dark, he dared to do things that other people say we're not going to do it. Yeah, it shocked me and I was interested. And it looked like more as an optimistic movie, about the guy from the other side of Israel doing it, like kind of against all odds, this like almost Hollywood movie. I remember these sentences like it's today. When I met Jonathan, he told me, my life is like Hollywood. You will have this Hollywood movie, which means, fame, glory, successful, money. That's what I know about the guy.
Because obviously, once you got that permission from his mother, he seems you have full access. And I understand you followed Jonathan for how many years?
I know till now. I know Jonathan almost 10 years. I follow him 8 years. In the movie, in the final cut, you almost see Jonathan from the age of 24 till the age of 31, which is 6.5, 7 years, which is a lot. Like I met him really at the beginning of the career. He was naive, no drugs in the pictures, safe sex, sleeping 8 hours, being a good Jewish boy that chooses to do porn and very proud and have the feeling that he chooses it and the freedom that he have in his life. That was its starting point. And in the 7 years till the age of 31, and I went to a different area with this movie.
You are, I know you have your film company and you've produced and documented several films, actually. Was this the longest that you've ever created a documentary or followed a subject along? And at what point was Jonathan curious? At what point did you realize, okay, I have my film, and I'm just curious about
It's
the
the
timing.
hardest movie for sure. I also created a movie, Mr. Gaga, about Batsheva Dance Company and Oad Narin. It took me 8 years to do it, but not 8 years of following. In this case, Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. I was really, really deeply involved on many layers, and were too many moments that I lost myself in the movie because I found myself going to Berlin and London. I'm not so naive guy. I'm gay by myself. I went to party. I went to sauna. I went, to adventure. I'm not a virgin, but still, I was exposed to this kind of style of life, heavy parties, drugs, and extremely destroyed yourself. It was new to me. So you have to understand it's many times happened that Jonathan called me, come to see amazing party in London, in Spain, in whatever, many times in Berlin. Mykonos, yeah, come
Mykonos,
for
you
one
go to
night,
Mykonos as
tonight, and I
well.
found myself for 3 weeks, 1 month. Or my cameraman, sometimes I was not able, so I sent the cameraman at the rice. So it was a movie that surprised me. Each time I discover more layers about the guy. One of the turning point that you might see in the movie, it's like when I realized by mistake that his father, first of all, he have a father, a real father that is alive, and he is living 3 blocks from the apartment that Jonathan have client or doing the porn movies. 3 blocks from there is a father who creates this boy, this child, and they are not talking, and I don't understand the relationship. This is something that I discover by mistake from Jonathan. So what I'm supposed to do with this information? Of course, I want to meet the father. I'm interesting. Why he left the house? What kind of relationship? Then the father agreed to be in the movie, and he's coming to visit Jonathan. And one of the, I think, a very strong moment in the movie is this meeting with son and father. It's really hit you. It's really
Very much so. And for my audience that can't wait for them to watch, you will come for Jonathan the Star. You will get caught up in this deeply riveting, exciting, sexualized story, but you can't help but feel emotion for this other storyline, which is the relationship with his mother, which is very touching and endearing. And then, like you talk about, his father, which he has struggled to have a relationship with. And we learn so much about that, the meeting you're talking about, that really rounds out this film. Jonathan gave you so much to work with, and it seems like he allowed you full access to everything. And we're talking the partying and him on stage having sex and talking to potential escort clients, and on and on. Was that
And he gave me his own computer, which shocked me, like with hundred or thousand sex event and situation with people. He told me, if you want to understand me, watch it. So for like 2 months, I just watched sex after sex. What I'm supposed to do with it? Another two guys, three guys in his computer exchange movies in some website. Hey man, you know what? It's 2 months to see from different, what I'm supposed to do with it. What kind of information I have to take? Shall I put it in the movie? Shall I ignore it? Like a deep question I asked myself during the process.
there's one scene towards the end, and I think we were talking about it a little briefly about the drug taking and how it escalates. And I'm wondering, there's one scene towards the end where it gets pretty serious. And I know as a documentarian, you're following somebody around, you have full access, but you obviously, you're participating by going to some of these parties. But at times, there's one scene, and I don't want to totally give it away, where it looks like Jonathan, our subject, might need a little bit of help and he might be in some trouble. And you do get involved. Talk a little about what you can about that scene and how you kind of played that role of documentarian and when to get involved, as I'm assuming you became friends with him when you see he could potentially be in danger.
I never been to a situation like this, and specific about what you described right now. To put it in the context and without to destroy the movie, Jonathan started to use very heavy drugs, which is a crystal meth called Mr. Tina or GHBG. Daily basis, 24/7, sex, drugs, and using drugs in a very intensive way. And tell me, hey, come with your camera, show me using it, doing it. I want to talk about it. It's part of my life. Tomer, I want you to be there. He by himself, I can't say force me, but call me, and I'm in Israel, and say, come to a party that the main issue is using drugs and then sex. Okay.
Yeah, can I stop you? Can I stop you there real quick? What do you think, just if you could share, what do you think that was about? If you could, I mean, what do you think it was about Jonathan that he knew that you're filming him, that this was going to be documented, that ultimately this is going to be most likely shown in one way, shape, or form. What do you think it was about Jonathan that wanted to show everything, including this side, the drug side?
There's something very beautiful about Jonathan, that he's not sharing only the beauty and the perfect moment in life. He really have this mission to share things with people and say, hey, my life is full of complex, and I also want you, my fans or my friend, to be with me when I'm down, empty, and lonely. But even Jonathan, I think, was not aware how deep he's in problem. And we have to share with your audience that he started using drugs that create almost like epilepsy situation, which means you lose completely yourself, you put yourself in danger, you might die from it, people are dying from it. And you have to understand, first time I was shocked, third time I was still shocked. After 20, 40, 50 times, I saw the guy, and I decide, and in a strange way, in a moral way, I say, I need, if I'm doing a movie about escorting guy, about someone who's using drugs, I need to show it. I need to share it. I was not sure that Jonathan will give me the permission to share it. And when he came to the editing room, and we're talking about very tough moment, you agree with me? It's not easy to watch.
Yes, no, not at all.
It's not easy to watch it. If you come to this movie, be ready. You might even
Right.
say, I want to leave the cinema. Jonathan came to see it. I told him, Jonathan, before I publish the movie, please watch it. And he told me, Tomer, don't dare to take this situation from the movie. It's very important that I will show a mirror to our community, the queer community, and to talk about it, but not to talk about it from intellectual theory in the academy, to show to people what's going on in the club and the connection between escorting and sex and this jungle of feeling. It was a hard moment, but luckily I have Jonathan that gave me the permission to.
Exactly. And I think your first comment about when I asked you this was there's something very beautiful about Jonathan. And it's is that he wants to show all sides of him, which is humanity. And in his case, it's full, you're getting full access, and it is beautiful, as it is hard to watch. I have to say, the entirety of what he allowed you and what you covered and captured is ultimately a beautiful thing, and I commend you on that. Lastly, do you think that there's a lot of scenes, particularly maybe the porn industry and Michael Lucas Productions, do you think that there might be any backlash at all, or do you not care? You're just certainly presenting what Jonathan's world was about, say, maybe, there's just a little bit of insight into porn and Michael Lucas and his production company.
For my personal meetings with Michael, he was really, really nice to me and to Jonathan. And in some way, what I like about Jonathan Agassi is that he takes responsibility about his case. He never blame or have any doubt about the industry.
Yes.
Because first of all, and at the beginning, Jonathan was forced to behave clean, no drugs, and to take care about it. The one who started to going deeply to this circle of life is Jonathan by himself. So it's very important that it's not a movie that show the backstage of porn industry. It's a very specific case, because at the same time I can share with you these other porn actors that wake up in the morning, going to study, have relationship with someone, have a very boring life. So it's keep it open to the audience to decide, what's going on. Maybe the movie says something about the people that taking Jonathan as an escorting. Let's say is a very strong moment at the end when 20 guys around him. This is leave you with an open question about, hey, what's happened? Why we lost the ability to have intimacy and to enjoy sex just one-on-one or, in a private places? This is a big question. Hopefully it will open a dialogue and a kind of question mark about industry and about our choices, but even more, what it's meant to be a father or mother. It's much more about the choices that we take as a parents. This is for me the message from the movie.
Oh, I love it. The film is wonderful. Tomer, I want to thank you so much. The film is called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life. Well, I hope you're excited to see the movie. I'm going to see it again, actually. It's playing in New York City. Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life, beginning this week, May 12th, at the New Plaza Cinema. And then it moves over to the Village East, May 13th through the 19th. There's going to be a Q&A with Tomer, so you want to check that out. And Los Angeles, it is playing May 20th through the 26th at the Laemmle in Glendale. Great theater over there. Check it out. There will be some screenings as well. If you want more information, go to TAGSPodcast.com. I will link up to the official website where you can get details and get tickets and all that good stuff. Don't forget to follow us on social media. It's at Tags Podcast on all social media platforms. Tags Live is on this Wednesday, May 11th. Join Kodi and I in front of a live virtual audience. So see you then. Again, go to tagspodcast.com to get all information and links. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.